या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 namo namah. Salutation to the Divine Mother who resides in all being in the form of energy, the cosmic energy that empowers creation, destruction and preservation. Salutation to her, salutation to her, salutation to her again and again. Namaskaram and welcome to the channel Sanskaarayurveda. Let's get started. Namaskaram and welcome to a special edition of Sanskaar Ayurveda, sponsored by Bhaskar Pharmaceutical Private Limited and Emil Pharmaceutical, supported by Marriott Hotel. I am your host, Divya Sonali. Today, we embark on a soulful journey into the world of Ayurveda wellness with a truly remarkable guest. Our guest is beacon of grace and inspiration. She is not just role model, but also the architect of change, breaking stereotype and inspiring others to dream without boundaries. We are honored to have Miss Nepal 2023 with us, and she will share her profound connection with Ayurveda. So, whether you are a long-time practitioner or someone new to the world of Ayurveda, get ready to be enlightened and inspired. Let's begin this enriching conversation by welcoming Miss Nepal 2023, Srichchha Pradhan. Namaste, ma'am. Welcome to the show. We are honored having you here.
Thank you. It's for a warm welcome.
Thank you. Firstly, congratulations on your going incredible journey as Miss Nepal. So before we delve into the specific topic, could you share how understanding of your how Ayurveda evolved, and are there any specific aspect that intrigue you personally?
So I would say that I'm a very newcomer to the world of Ayurveda, still learning, still researching, but when I look back, I realized that it really started really long time ago because my grandparents heavily influenced my lifestyle, and they were also very inspired by Ayurvedic medicine as well. We had books related to Ayurveda as well, and I think that's where my understanding slowly grew. And I remember my grandma came to me once, and then she rubbed my palm and she said that if you smell it, you can smell fire. And likewise, there's water, there's earth, there's air and space in our own body, and that we're so part of nature. And at that time, I didn't really understand, but as I'm getting to learn a lot about my body and starting to be more aware of it, I'm trying to see the connection of how those 5 elements relate, which relates to nature, is also related to our body. I think it's very fascinating.
Thank you. So today we are particularly interested in your exploring your involvement in Ayurveda and your project related to 5 elements. So someone not really immersed from the field of Ayurveda, how was your understanding of 5 elements evolved, and what aspect resonate with you the most?
So I first started looking into the 5 elements because we are always reminded that we have the 5 elements through the prayer flags, through different temples holding different colored Buddhas as well. So as I was trying to see the connection between environment, action, and Buddhism, that's when I first discovered the 5 elements. And it had it represents 5 different colors, and I was trying to build a website for my project, and I wanted to incorporate those 5 colors. And slowly, as I started exploring it, I realized that it's so much fascinating to see these connections that we have in nature in our bodies as well. And also that's one thing that I'm personally trying to research is when we're trying to explore climate action, can we include those 5 elements? Because one, it would be a very compelling storytelling method, and the other is that we would finally discover how these how there is interconnectedness between those elements as well. So that's how I started researching about it. So it didn't directly come from Ayurvedic medicine as well, but I think those 5 elements helped me discover Ayurveda.
Okay, so whenever we went through your interview, we find that you radiate a kind of positive aura around yourself. So who is your inspirational source, or what is the source of inspiration that make you so positive, so radiant? So do you want to elaborate about it?
Thank you so much. I think everyone has these different sources of positive inspiration. You might have one too, which I'd love to hear as well. But I think for me, nature is the biggest source of inspiration for me. Realizing that I am entirely a part of nature and that there is nothing I really need to do to prove my worth to the world or anyone, to myself as well. That simply existing in a way, simply breathing, simply embracing these different elements that we have in our body that is thriving, just being grateful to that is enough. And I think I'm trying to slow down and embrace that interconnectedness with nature, and it makes me feel a lot humbler and a lot happier. And I would love to hear yours as well.
For mine, the inspirational source, the person who stand by my back, or the one who always encourages me, everything goes to my father. Actually, my daddy, he's the one who inspired me every single time. So whenever I'm scattered into pieces, or at the point where I find myself completely down or scattered, at that the time he pick every small part of me and make me more confident than before. Like he's everything for me.
Yeah.
So my inspirational source, my ideal, the person whom I look after, is my father.
So good. I'm also a dad's daughter, so I can relate.
So now moving to add another question, how do you plan to communicate the relevance of 5 elements that is also mentioned in Ayurveda? Actually, whether you are known about it or not, the 5 elements is the fundamental basic principle of Ayurveda as well. So how do you plan to communicate the relevance to a diverse audience, including those who are not unfamiliar with this tradition? So what is your plan to
I
communicate?
think I'd love to hear more about the 5 elements from you first, because that's one of the ways that we should be celebrating these traditional knowledge, as well as bringing forth these conversations to the public, talking to experts and young students like you who are taking the field to making it more accessible in a time where it's kind of fading away. So what does the 5 elements mean
So
to you?
according to Ayurveda, every single thing of world is made up of 5 elements. So whether it is our body or food or anything that we can see from our eyes that is visible is made up of 5 elements. So whenever we talk about 5 elements, Ayurveda say that Sarva Dravyam Panchamatikam. It means that every elements, everything that we can visualize from our eye is made up of 5 elements. So whenever we go for the treatment, we do think about it that way. In some of the diseases, there is increasement of air elements, that is Vayu, according to diseases in Hatha. So if we go for the treatment, we will try to decrease the level of Vata over there. So Ayurveda, so Panch Mahabhautika is a fundamental principle of Ayurveda. And it is very interesting. And so this is what Ayurveda talk about 5 elements. So it is the basic theory of Ayurveda, fundamental one. So entire Ayurveda is somehow based on 5 elements according to this. But we also have 3 dosa concept. And then this is what Ayurveda talk about. So when it's come to the diverse audience who is not really familiar with these terms, so how do you plan to communicate about the relevance of 5 elements with them?
So I think one element that I'm really fascinated by is water and how fluid it is. And I feel like we all have different things that we're drawn into, different elements that we're drawn to. So giving them an opportunity to do self-research about, maybe a certain what element are you kind of question, and just helping them research, providing different resources. That's a great start to share these concepts to the diverse audience. And it definitely needs to come from experts as well. So I think my role is also in a form of bridging this gap of public and the experts as well. And other than that too, through my project as well, I really want to bring those storytelling, the traditional values, the indigenous values. What were those? What do they tell us about our own identities? So as being people from the Eastern world, I feel like we need to do some research about it and promote those different types of solutions and medicine as well, and knowledge as well, tradition as well. Not because not necessarily because that's the only truth given to us, because it also plays a very key role about our adaptation into this world. So that needs to be acknowledged, and I feel like the sense of responsibility, the sense of curiosity, the sense of like connection, that's how we can help it get to the diverse audience as well.
That is really a great plan, and you're doing so well and inspiring many of us to do and go through that. Thank you. So when we talk about Ayurveda, Ayurveda is deeply rooted into culture and heritage. So how important do you feel to promote this practice in the face of modernization and globalization?
So the reason why I started valuing, let's say, Eastern medicine or our traditions and values is because once I went for my education in the States, I realized how absent these conversations are. It's very niche, and that's when I started researching about what does my country hold about these conversations. In my case, about wildlife conservation and climate action. What solutions do they have? So once I started looking into that, I feel like that's the fascination that I got. And we have a lot of youth studying abroad at this time, and a lot of them going for employment as well. And I think it's also time for us to start researching about the things you miss back home and why did they matter to you. So that kind of connection really helps us relive what our grandparents taught us and give it a new value, and also like the way that we can truly survive modernization, globalization is understanding both worlds and trying to find an in-between path. So we really need, someone who has knowledge of both sides to show us the middle path and bring it to the Western world as well, because all these values and all these different indigenous values especially is missing in climate action. It's slowly coming up, but we're realizing that's the critical solution. So just giving it immense value and push is very important at this time.
Thank you. You are so passionate about your work as well, and when we came to know that your project is also in 5 elements, then that's make us realize that our elements, the things that we have studied, need to be explored. And if it is explored, if it is coming into a huge mass by a social media personality like you, then it is also a great opportunity for Ayurveda practitioners as well to explore themselves from the era that they have completely dawned into. So that is completely good, and thank you so much. So as we are at the end of conversation, before wrapping up, do you want to share any thought that you have to your audience so that they could understand the core values of yours as well?
So I'm very excited to see where my project goes and what kind of shape it will take, and that's only possible through collaboration. So I'm very open to collaborating as well and learning more from people like you. And we connected through an Ayurvedic conference, the first conference held in Nepal, I think. And in that moment, I realized how important it is for youth to learn these traditional methods as well, and also to give value to what was once so normal for our grandparents, right? So I definitely want to thank you all for taking a lead in this subject as well and continuing your work here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I extend my heartfelt gratitude for gracing us with your presence and sharing your profound insight. Your unwavering dedication to meaningful project, notably in Ayurveda, as your 5 elements is somehow connected with Ayurveda, is resonate deeply. Your contribution are truly commendable, and I wish you continuous success and fulfillment in your endeavor. And we eagerly anticipate collaboration and opportunity to increase and enrich in discussion like this in further way. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you to our listener for tuning in. Your engagement played a crucial role in this video. This video is sponsored by the first WHO GMP certified company, Sanskaar Pharmaceutical Private Limited, and Emil Pharmaceutical, serving since 1984. This video is also supported by Marriott Hotel.
Thanks for watching, and if you like this video,
like, share, and subscribe.